After all, it is called the Debt Settlement Easy Business Plan. All of the things that you have to do are things that are about you and your life. Just accumulating that information should be easy, even though rigorous, because putting in the rigor, putting in the work is part of what prepares you as the CEO to go face the challenges ahead of you so that you can succeed. A primary purpose of your Debt Settlement Easy Business Plan will be to overcome the number one reason that debt settlement fails, which, as we just learned about, is lack of commitment. To overcome the top 5 fears of debt settlement and other fears that you may have. That's always been the path of the course, to take knowledge and information to overcome fear so that you can move forward with commitment and find a much greater chance of success. So I don't know about you, but I've always found that things are easier when they're easy to remember. So I designed the Easy Business Plan to be just that, easy to remember. It's an acronym, Easy Business Plan. Every letter is going to take us through one element of the debt settlement process almost in order, so that by the time you go from beginning to the end of your Easy Business Plan, you will have learned everything there is to know about debt settlement and gone through the entire process of freeing yourself from the negative emotions of debt so that you can get on those phone calls with those collection agents and negotiate on your own behalf with strength and confidence. So let's go through it step by step. I'm just going to first tell you what the Easy Business Plan is. The first part is what I call the easy part. Makes sense, right? E stands for emotions, where we're going to go into detail about actual, specific, tangible exercises for you to start facing and releasing those negative emotions of debt. And this is one of those exercises that even on your first time through, I would like you to do. It's not an exercise that puts you right into the middle of negotiating settlements. You may not choose to go through debt settlement as your way out of debt, but I guarantee you whatever path you choose, having faced the negative emotions of debt will empower you in that choice. So I highly recommend, even on your first time through this course, that you do the exercises in the first section about emotions. After that, we're going to go into the accounting section. And this is where you will gather all of your financial data on your life and come up with not only a full accounting of your income and debts, assets, and expenses, but you're actually going to start calculating how much you need for a debt settlement fund and what your target settlement amount is, and seeing where those two balance out and what's going to work when it comes to negotiating debt settlement. This is certainly one of those things that you don't need to do on your first time through, but watch the whole video, see what it all is, because your mind's going to start thinking about how am I going to do that when the time comes. After accounting, we get to S, strategy, and I'm going to deliver many strategies about how to approach debt settlement, how to raise a debt settlement fund. It's a great section. I found it a lot of fun to put together, and I think you'll enjoy it as we come up with new ideas for you to raise that debt settlement fund so you can be successful in your debt settlement. And then we come to the end of the easy part, Y, which stands for you. You as the CEO of the corporation of you, and why you are uniquely and specifically qualified, the only person in the world who is qualified to be the CEO of the corporation of you. And we're going to go through what your strengths and the weaknesses you have to look out for, and what your opportunities and what threats could come against you, so that you can really get clear on what your role is as the CEO of this corporation. And once you are, we're then going to start talking about your vision. I firmly believe that visions are a crucial part of making the future happen. That if you're just doing this to do it, that's not going to be as powerful a place to come from, nor necessarily as successful a journey as if you envision why you are doing it. So we're going to write in specific detail about your life, why you want to be out of debt, what that is going to provide for you and your family and your future. So you can start to see how the framework works, right? The Easy Business Plan, EASY, emotions, accounting, strategy, you and your vision. Business is going to go the same way, BUSINESS. We're going to talk about each one of those and what it means in this process. So the first part, the first 3 letters spell bus. So it's the portion that I call getting on the bus. And what I like about getting on the bus is that these next 3 are all the things that you do before you actually start entering the process of negotiating. These are all things for you to do and information for you to acquire in preparation for the debt settlement journey. The first B stands for banking. I find it very interesting that 183 million people have credit cards, and very, very few of those actually understand the industry and the business of banking and what banks do and how credit cards were created and why they exist the way they do now. Why do we pay interest in the way that we do? And why do we have fees in the way that we do? What are the laws that are associated with banks? How did banking even start? What is the history of money? All of this information is not only useful, but essential to understanding what your competitor is doing in this business deal. You are going to be negotiating settlements on your credit card debt. That is your debt settlement business plan. Your bank has their debt collection business plan, and their debt collection business plan was built out of the model of the history of money and banking and credit, and learning that and knowing that is an essential part of being comfortable and confident in those negotiations. So B is for banking. And just like information about banks and the history of money and lending and credit is important to that, so is understanding debt collectors. So that's the U, understanding debt collectors. Well, I'm going to take you through every different kind of debt collector there is, whether they work at your bank or for another company that your bank contracts or an independent company, and all of the laws and regulations that govern how they can engage with you in a debt collection phone call, so that you see that light on that otherwise fearful dark tunnel of, oh my God, the conversation with the debt collector, from a place of knowledge and information that makes the fear go away and increases your commitment and your chances of success. Understanding debt collectors. And then S is one of my favorite parts of the entire Easy Business Plan. It's the part where you really put the pedal to the metal on that bus. It's when you stop paying your credit card bill. And that's a massive, huge, emotional, empowering, frightening moment for so many people to not send in that payment that very first month, and really just know that you are now on the road. The bus is speeding along, and the great thing about S is it's not just stop paying, it's start saving. When you're no longer sending that burdensome credit card payment to your bank every month or to multiple credit card accounts every month, that money is now in your bank account. So you can start attending to your life and the important things of your life, and saving some of that debt settlement fund, which we're going to get into in more detail as we keep moving through the business plan. You may have seen that I love acronyms almost as much as I love quotes. Easy, the bus. I struggled a little bit with what to do with INESS. There didn't seem to be a nice word to make out of that, but I came up with a nice sentence. I never expected such success. I mean, once you start saying to yourself, I never expected such success, it's easy to start remembering INESS in the business part of the business plan. And this is really where success is achieved in your debt settlement journey. I is for intimidations. These are all the tools that the bank will use to put you on an emotional roller coaster, to use your emotions and your fears against you to give them the upper hand in the debt settlement conversations. And I will go into detail about what all of those intimidations are, so that when you see them, you go, oh, I'm not surprised you're thrown off by this. I see exactly what they're doing. Kenny told me all about it. I know why they're doing it. I know what they're trying to accomplish through it, and I'm prepared for it. N is the negotiations. And again, a lot of detail where I actually take you through what real conversations with debt collectors look like, what they're going to say. You remember I talked about the script, that they actually have a script? I noticed the script when I started negotiating with 5, 6, 7 banks at once, and realized that all of the negotiations happened the same way. They all started off with the same introduction. They all did the same thing at each twist and turn. They all ended with the same comments. It's when I started to see their scripts that I realized they were treating it like a business, which is what ultimately gave me the impetus to start treating it like a business myself, and now pass that business plan on to you. So N is for negotiation. And then E is for expect surprises. Look, it's gonna happen. The one thing we can say about all plans is that something in them is going to go awry. There is going to be things that happen that you didn't expect, even things that I didn't expect in your journey. I can't say that I've experienced everything. I have readers who write to me about experiences that they had that I say, oh, wow, I didn't do that. You did that. So there are going to be surprises. And I just want to prepare you with a plan, not to think that the plan's going to go exactly the way you intend it to, but to know that you are prepared for the surprises when they come. And then one of those surprises, of course, is the possibility that you could be sued. I've mentioned this as we've gone through the course. I thought about titling this video, this S in the business plan, Success, and taking a moment here to really rally you up for the success that I feel is going to be coming your way at this point. But it's never been my intention to sugarcoat this process for you at all. It's always been my intention to prepare you as best I can for everything that might come your way so that you can face it with knowledge and information and courage and confidence. So the section when we get there on being sued takes you into so much detail about how a lawsuit works, what happened to me when I was sued twice, if and when you may need an attorney, what the steps are, everything you'll need to know so that as you move through your debt settlement journey, that possibility of being sued, while real, isn't frightening. It isn't that dark tunnel of fear that might have you say, I am going to give up on all of this just to avoid it because I'm so frightened of it. You'll be able to face it with knowledge and information, which makes it part of your plan to deal with it if it comes. And then we get to talk about what it feels like when you do succeed, when you reach that point in a conversation with your bank or a collection agency or any debt collector where they've made an offer or you've made an offer and both parties say yes, when you have settled out one of your credit card accounts for less than the amount owed and eliminated that debt from your life. And this is such a wonderful moment when you've been treating debt settlement like a business. It's like any business. If you ever started a new business and you're going after that first sale or that first client and you book them, it's like, wow, this works. I see the potential of the success. You don't need to settle out all 5, 6, 7 of your cards to be at the end of your debt settlement journey and 100% debt free to start feeling the success of your plan. The first phone call, the first time that collection agent makes you an offer, even an 85% offer, you'll say to yourself, okay, I see, I understand where this is going. When they come down to 55%, that's a success. When you actually reach a settlement and say yes, that's a time to go celebrate every step of the way as you succeed in your journey. And then after success, after you've actually had that agreed upon settlement where you've done it, there is settlement agreements. And I'll say it now just so you're not surprised by it later. Never, ever, ever send money to a bank or collection agent without getting a settlement agreement in writing. I'm going to go through that in detail. I want to make sure you hear it right now. I'm going to repeat it often as we move through the course. Settlement agreements in writing are a crucial element of closing that deal. That's the easy business part, and then we're into the plan, which starts with payments, where I take you through how to actually make payment. There are a few methods and several methods you don't want to do. I just want to clarify all of those for you, and paperwork. Under that P section, I want you to be very organized like a business. We're not going to allow you to have a scattered desk with paperwork all over the place. We're going to get you organized so you're prepared for every one of those settlement negotiation phone calls and prepared with all of your paperwork to back up your settlements. And then L is for lessons. Look, I am a firm believer that life isn't about not making mistakes. Life isn't about doing everything right. Life is about making mistakes and having some failures and having some setbacks and learning from them, or having successes and learning from them. Every step of your journey, whether a call goes great or a call goes horribly, is going to be a lesson for you to learn. And we're going to document those lessons so that you can refer back to them and make sure that you use them when you are on the next call, leading again to your success. And then A is for additional topics. I'm going to take you through some of the potential tax liabilities of debt settlement. There are relevant tax issues that you need to know about and be prepared for. Talk to your accountant about in advance so you know what they are. And also credit repair. We're going to talk a little bit about what a reputable credit repair company does so that by the time you are done settling out all of your debt and you're 100% debt free and emotionally separated from your credit score, what you can do to then rebuild that score to use it as the tool that it is in another way. And lastly is N, which just kind of, I feel it the most. I get excited about the negotiations and the settlements, but I kind of drop down into my heart when we start talking about new life, about having succeeded through your debt settlement easy business plan, succeeded through all of your debt settlement negotiations, becoming 100% debt free. But remember, we talked about the vision, about the why you're doing it. When you get to your new life at the end of the easy business plan, that's where you get to enjoy the why that you're doing it all for, where you have built for yourself, taken control and built for yourself a new life. So that's pretty easy to remember, right? The easy business plan.